With me tonight, our second guest on South Shore Vibe, Pham. He is a citizen in Brossard, Quebec, Canada. Here with me tonight to speak about 50 years ago how he came to Quebec, Canada, leaving Saigon in Vietnam, today called Ho Chi Minh City. Pham, welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks very much to have me today.
It is a pleasure and a privilege. And before we get going, I just wanted to give a little bit of history, a little bit of context to our viewers. Vietnam was once a colony of France for almost 100 years, from 1858 to 1954. In the 1954, there were the Geneva Accords, the partition, temporarily dividing Vietnam at the 17th parallel into a communist north and a Western aligned south. There was a withdrawal. The Paris Peace Accords were signed in January 1973, leading to the withdrawal of the last U.S. combat units by March 1973. And in early 1975, North Vietnamese forces launched a massive final offensive. On April 30th, 1975, they captured Saigon, renaming it Ho Chi Minh City, marking the end of the war. Tree, your family was living in Saigon, Vietnam in 1975. How many people were in your immediate family in Saigon?
Yeah, so obviously I have my parents and I have three sisters, older sister. I'm the youngest, right? And my two older sisters are married and got kids of 3-month-old and 1-month-old infant. And then their husband, and that's it, in total 10 people.
Your father's career or job when you were a child growing up was?
Yeah, he was a lawyer. He was a lawyer. Unfortunately, as he graduated and started practicing, in 1968, a shell came to our house. Our house very close to the Independence Palace where the government is. So you can imagine that it hit us right in the balcony, and my father came out severely wounded and lost both eyes and a few limbs, and my mother was slightly wounded, but that changed a lot our life, and so that makes the 1975 a little bit more difficult with somebody that is handicapped.
Now, in 1975, you're 17 years of age. You're attending a school called Lycée Marie Curie School. Your world was defined by French literature, the escalating sounds of war. Tell me, what were your thoughts of that school briefly?
Yeah, I grew up and I enjoy the French lycée very, very much. I had Vietnamese, and I was always wondering why am I studying history of France, but I became pretty polyvalent in that. But it always have given me a very solid background that later I found out that as I integrate in Quebec, it was, it prepared me very, very well for the universities and so on. So,
on April 28th, 1975, what happened to you?
Yeah, so that was total chaos, and that was April, so our school year finished, and I had to pass a French exam in classe de première called Anticipé de Français. But as I arrived from 9 o'clock to 12 on noon, I hear all these Hercules airplane flying over, and it started to be a bit weird, and then as I go to home, all our neighbors have already left, and our family just said, "Okay, go back," and we go. So that was a weird experience.
You had to take, I would imagine, some belongings, some money, and what did you put it in? Briefcases, backpacks? What did you use? Suitcases?
Yeah, so a few clothes and you know, because we are going to go and we didn't know where to go and so on, and we have 2 infants, you know, some of our belongings we put in milk,
Similac milk for the
Similac
babies.
milk, and also money in those. So it turned out to be essential for the survival of it. And that's it, you know. So you leave everything. You have like 15 minutes to pack. So you grab everything and then you put things in a briefcase.
The next day, you and your family leave the country. The final exit. Can you tell our viewers about April 29th and the Americanist soldier and with the machine gun and the bus?
Yeah, so on the 28th, we left our house, and we expected to be lifted by air because all this, as I said, the Hercules came. But that night was, the airport was bombed, so it was very terrifying we were very close to the airport, so the ground shook. And then we waited on the 29th, the following day, and you know, obviously we saw that the air was, you know, the runway was completely bombed. So we didn't know what to do. This was a train of thought to go back home, but my sister and my mother persisted, and finally. Indeed, at 5 o'clock, there was a Marine that came and then say, "Hey, who wants to go?" So, and it's $1,000 a pop. So I said, "Okay, we want to go." Yeah, yes. And within minutes, he got, you know, I think he's got $50,000
in a school bus.
Then he came back with a school bus and put everything in the school bus, and then he drove us to what we thought was the airport, but he drove us to the docks. And then there were a lot of people around it, so he goes with his M16 in the air.
Shooting it off so the people will part.
Yeah, and then he go in and say bye, you know, so then we were left in a total chaos. Everybody was running around, and I put my bag down, so did my mother, and then within 2 seconds it disappeared. So we lost everything. Yeah.
Your family goes onto a barge. You spend the night of April 29th on a sandbag barge towed by an American ship. As you sail down the Mekong, the sky behind you is ablaze on fire. What can you tell us from that trip, from the barge, the 3 days in the ship? What can you tell our viewers about that, please? Yeah, so it turned in right away in the survival mode. So first of all, to climb on it, it was difficult. With my father was, you know... Father was physically challenged? And you had 2-month-old babies with you?
Yeah. 1 month and 1 3 months. So we turned right away in the survival mode. So we were looking for hot water, and luckily, after pleading, we had hot water during the night, right? So we don't have no shelter. It rained on us, but we were saved by hot water because we were given, and with the milk that
Similac milk for the babies.
Right. So that was the whole night, and then we went into the open sea, and we saw, you know, a lot of fleet of American boats, and then there was a lot of helicopters also trying to board, and then, you know, all these things that are very famous, you know, people push the helicopters down into the sea. So we boarded the cargo plane.
Cargo ship, yeah.
Cargo ship, and then, you know, we sort of settled down, but there were 8,000 people there. So during those 3 days, you know, the Americans were very good. I think, you know, I would express my gratitude toward that, but to serve 8,000 people is not easy. So we got a little bit to eat within 3 months. Yeah.
So you expressed to me before that it was the first time in your life experiencing hunger during that 3-day voyage because the amount of food you got was so minute. You arrive in Canada after processing in Guam. You chose Montreal due to family ties. You arrived May 12, 1975. You get to stay at the Queen Elizabeth Hotel on Peel Street. You said they put you up for 1 month. How was it adapting to Quebec Canadian society?
First of all, I would say I'm very, looking back, I'm very grateful for the Quebec and the Canadian government. My French and my family were all educated in French, so it eased up a lot. We were very eager to work. So my sister started work like 2 days after. And we were given clothing and permit to do so. That's and then within 2 months, I went into CJEP. So, and I was almost completely integrated.
That's good. You ended up graduating in mechanical engineering from McGill University. We have a picture of that. In terms of your last thoughts regarding your family, in terms of the perseverance, determination, love, the different generations, what comes to mind?
I would say, you know, our experience is, again, coming from the generosity of the Canadian and the Quebec, adapting it, and we all want to come to this country to contribute. So I think, and right now, after 50 years, 43 years, I've been working at the company here, Pratt & Whitney. So I think, you know, I think it has an overall good experience overall. Win-win for us, win-win for Canada and Quebec. So that's,
we're lucky to have you, and thank you for being here, and to all your family for their contributions. Together, we make the Canada what it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll end the show with a picture. Last year, over 50 years later, Tree, for the first time after 50 years, went back. And that's in front of the Independence Palace, which wasn't far from the home that he was speaking to you about when he was younger. Him and his daughter, her for the first time, Tree for the first time in 50 years, went back to visit last year. And we'll end our show on that. Tree, thank you for sharing. Thank you for educating us. Till we meet again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.